Okay guys, today I'm going to be recording a video on how to set up a server for port forwarding. First, well, you're going to need to have your server set up. Then you're going to want to open up your browser of choice. And then if you're on Windows, go to the flag icon, the Windows icon, type in CMD, hit enter. Then when it opens, type in ipconfig and hit enter. Then what you're going to see is your wireless LAN adapter, wireless network connection, or whatever. And then you're going to need your IPv4 for later on, so just get a sticky note and write that down. Okay. Then what you're going to want to do is type in 192, your default gateway, this thing right here, your default gateway, into your browser. Mine is going to pop up, 192.168. And then if I will give you guys a link to a site somewhere around this general area, I guess, to a site where it'll show you how to port forward for your type of router. Mine is a UB, so I'm going to go through UB, I guess. And then mine is going to be different from any of yours. So I'm just going to undo this really fast, and then I'll start it from the beginning. The second IP you're not going to need. That's just the Votifier. If you get Votifier for your server, Votifier is a plugin. If you're going to use Bucket, a plugin that will allow you to apply voting for your server to like a site called planetminecraft.com. I'll post a link for that too, depending on your server version. Then what you're going to want to do is open up or type in your local IP, which would be your computer's IP, which would be the IPv4. So you're going to want to type in, mine is going to be 12. You're going to want to have the 255.65, which is the default port. And then just the external will be the same, so that'll be the connecting IP. And then just, if you have a checkbox, just click Enable. And then if there's an apply button, click it to make sure that it's applied and it's up and running. Then you don't need that anymore. You won't need that anymore. And you won't need your sticky note anymore. Well, unless you're gonna have Minecraft open for stuff. Alright, now what you're gonna want to do is... Okay, sorry, I had to get a folder. Alright, then what you're going to want to do is make a folder. Doesn't have to be named what I name it. Then what you're going to want to do is go into New and create a text document. You don't have to name it anything special yet. Then what you're going to want to do is... hang on guys, I'm going to pause this again. Sorry, I had to get one of the codes for this. Then what you're going to want to do is get this code, which will be in the description of this video. It doesn't have to, like, some of you will have different RAM amounts for your computer. Like mine's a 4 gig RAM, 4 gig RAM in this laptop or computer. And what you're going to want to do is, if you don't want to edit your path file, you can put on echo space off, and then you can just type in, like, this is your allocated RAM, I think, and this is your max RAM usage or whatever, I think. This just represents that it's a jar file. This is your file itself. You have to include the extension for it, the extension for the file. Mine was called server.jar, and then this just represents that it's an offline server. So, like, cracked players can join it instead of just all premiums. So then that works. And then just do a file, save as, and then just start that. And then just type in start.bat and hit save, hit X, and then you'll have this new generated file right here. You can delete the old one, and then you can have this. Now what you can do is go to a site called Bucket or dl.bucket.org and get your server version. I'm just going to be using 1.6.4 since it's the latest recommended build for this tutorial. And then I will show you the rest in a moment. Hang on. You just drag it into the folder. You won't need the browser anymore. You're going to want to, I'm going to rename this to the server.jar, and this is a jar file, so if you go back in here, and then it's still server jar, so that'll start that thing. This will open up a console, and then it'll give me this because I set it to offline mode. It's just generating the worlds right now, so give it a minute. It'll be pretty slow on the first startup because of the world generation and the server file generation. Then what you're going to want to do when it's all started up, mine started up in 17 seconds. Yeah, it'll start up very slow on the first shot, but then what you're going to want to do is just type in stop, and then it'll stop your console and close it, and you have all these brand new files that just generated. Okay, so basically now what you're going to want to do is go into this server properties folder. You can disable the nether in here. You can change the world name, like if you want to download a world off who knows where, or if you already have a world, you can just put it in there, change this to the name of that file, and then you're good. It'll load up that world only. Or not that world only, but it'll load up that world, and it'll generate another and an end if you have that enabled. The server port will basically just stay the same unless you have your port in your gateway set to a different port. Like if it was 25566, then I just changed the 2 last digits to 66 or whatever else. The seed you don't really have to change unless you want to generate a world with that seed. So basically you just delete the current world that you have, or yeah, the current world you have, and then it'll just generate this new seed. You can generate a max build height. You can set, well, the server IP itself won't really be used because that's for like dedicated servers, which I will provide a link for one in the description. So then you can like learn, or just instead of doing all this, you could just go on that link and yeah, this will be your MOTD. The max players you can set whatever. I'm just gonna set mine to 15 for now because I'm not gonna really have anybody on it. Actually, I'll just set it to 10 or 5. I'll set it to 5 because I'm not gonna have anyone on it. So basically, then your everything else can basically stay the same unless you want to change your texture pack. You're gonna want to put in a direct link right to the texture pack. I'm just going to change the MOTD to test server real quick and just save the file. And the editor that I'm using is called NotePad++. You can download. I'll put a download link for that in the description also. This is just basically your startup logs to see if you have any errors. Your ops file you're going to want to put in your username. Mine is Mr. Dieter 1998. Dieter. Oh my god, I can't even say my own username right. Dieter. There we go. And there you go. That you're gonna be opt when you join the server. Ban players. That's just the ban players text. Basically, if you ban someone, their name will pop up in here. Basically, that's it. Thanks, guy. Well, actually, I'll show you the server just because. You're gonna have. Wait, actually, don't want this open. And don't do what I just did because that can easily crash and screw up your plugins and stuff. I'm just gonna edit this and run it with a lesser amount of RAM. So I'm just gonna run it with 512M because I don't really need that much RAM. I think. Save. X. And basically just start it up. And then it'll just load up. And it started up in 2.6 seconds, so I will open up my Minecraft. This is the file. I'm just gonna put this over there. I'm gonna open up the Minecraft launcher. And just wait for this to start up. Play. Yeah, no figures. I have mine set for 1.7.2. I'm just going to play it on 1.6.4. Just give it a minute for me to load up. It's going to load up pretty slow for me because of the, I'm recording too. And you won't really need that folder open. And I also don't really recommend running a server while playing Minecraft because it can easily 1 lag the server, 2 lag you, and 3 lag your internet because you're sending out a ping to the server and then you're receiving it and the server's still sending back a ping, so you're like doubling up your internet usage per login. And it gets worse when you have multiple people joining the server. So yeah. Alright guys, I'm gonna come back when this thing is fully loaded. I will be back in a minute. Okay guys, I'm back. It loaded up for me. I'm just gonna be going in here. This is my server right here, so if you wanna just check out that IP. I'm just gonna direct connect to this server. 192.168.12. When you're joining the server on your own computer, the computer that's hosting the server, then you don't have to use your IPv4, or well, you're going to have to use your IPv4 IP, but the second IP when we were port forwarding is the IP that people will be using to join the server. So I just joined the server. Basically, it just gives you the basic bucket stuff. As you can see, I should be up. Yeah, I'm opt. Just five player slots. There we go. Now I'm in creative. This is a 1.6.4. Sorry for it being so laggy. My computer's not the best. I'm trying to save up for a better computer. So, uh, when I get a better computer, I'll probably be doing better videos. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hopefully it was helpful for you if you were having issues from before. Leave a comment if you had any issues with your setup, or you had a comment on anything I did. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks, guys.